Three, two, one, go. Hey everybody, this is George Habib, and we are now in the Third Culture Rant segment of the show. This is the segment where we talk about people who are born overseas, living elsewhere, and belonging nowhere. And we try to get their perspectives on things. Right now, I'm speaking with Razmig, who's currently living in Montreal. Say hi, Razmig.
What's up? I'm Razmig.
Oh shit. Okay, so Razmig, the definition of the third culture is the mixed identity that a child assumes, influenced both by their parents' culture and the culture in which they are raised. Given this definition, do you identify as a third culture kid?
Yes, I do, because I was born and raised in one culture, and then for the last 5 years, I've been living in a different culture. So I guess that fits the description of the third culture.
Definitely does. Razmik, could you tell us more about your background? Where you're
Right.
from and where you are?
Okay. So I was born and raised in Lebanon to Lebanese Armenian parents, right? So on the streets and everything, it's Arabic, but at home we speak Armenian. I eat Armenian food. It's more of an Armenian culture mixed in Lebanon. And then for the last 5 years, I moved to Canada, which is I want to say completely different, but yeah, I guess it's completely different because it's like more Western rather than Middle Eastern culture.
Yeah.
So I've been exposed to 3 different cultures, if you will.
Can I ask which one you identify with the most?
I don't know. I guess I'm gonna say Western because right now I'm living that Western culture. So yeah. But if someone asks me where I'm from, I say I'm Lebanese. And then once I really get to know them, like get to know them a bit more, I say I'm Armenian, which opens up a whole new chapter. I'm like, oh, what's that? I don't know what. Because like when people look at me, they're like, oh, you don't really look Lebanese, you're kind of blondish with blue eyes. Mm-hmm. Then I'll be like, yeah, because I'm Armenian too. And then they're like, Armenian? I thought you're Lebanese. So
yeah, but like there's a bunch of Armenians in Lebanon. And just to the viewers, I want to point out that I am also an Armenian Lebanese. My mom's Armenian and my dad's Lebanese. But I guess I'm not as pure-blooded as Razmig over here.
Pure-blooded.
Because you're fully Armenian, huh? Like there's no generations in between?
I wouldn't say fully Armenian because I'm born and raised in Lebanon, right?
Do you know
2 Lebanese Armenian parents.
Do you know why your parents or their grandparents or ancestors moved to Lebanon?
Yeah, because of the genocide. When the Armenian genocide happened, many Armenians traveled to Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, more to the west, to Europe as well. It so happened that my grandparents, my parents of my grandparents, they moved to Lebanon.
So your great grandparents?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with mine. Same thing. Mostly on my grandmother's side. I believe it was my great grandfather who was Armenian and fled the genocide. My great grandmother, who he was married to, was actually, she didn't consider herself Armenian. She considered herself Turkish Christian.
Okay.
So I guess back then they just put them all together and then they just fled.
I guess because she was referring to the Ottoman Empire, because I guess I'm assuming there was no Armenia, the country. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, but the thing is, the Ottoman Empire didn't do the genocide. It was the Young Turks.
Young Turks, yeah.
Yeah, everyone thinks it was the Ottomans. No, it was the Young Turks.
Weren't the Young Turks the leaders of the Ottoman Empire?
No, they're hello. Okay, we're kind of like going a bit away from the main point of this show, but the Young Turks were, I'm not a historian, but they were basically Western influenced generals who wanted Turkey to be like secular and national. They didn't want like an emperor. They didn't want like a religious empire. They just wanted to make their own republic. So so in the beginning they kind of worked with the Ottoman, the Ottoman Sultan, I believe, but then they kind of were responsible for overthrowing them.
Right.
But they were the ones who massacred Armenians and Kurds, I believe, not the Ottomans.
And Greeks.
And Greeks. which I'm also like Greek,
Really? How so?
that side Greek Orthodox.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, that's the history lesson. There's a lot of Armenians in Lebanon, and I apologize to the rest of the world for the Kardashians in North America. They kind of didn't stop at Lebanon. They kind of just kept going. So we can blame the Young Turks for the Kardashians. I think that was the reason. So yeah, so this brings us to the other question. Why did your family immigrate to Canada? Because I believe you have a Canadian passport, you and your
Yeah,
family.
yeah. So my parents, they moved to Canada during the Civil War, Lebanese Civil War, and they got the passport, but they went back, and they had me there, whatever. So I automatically get the passport because they got it. I just wish they went and they stayed in Canada, right? Like, why go
Yeah.
back?
Why
But
did they go back to Lebanon after becoming Canadian?
I think they had a hard time of moving, like starting somewhere fresh or whatever. I think I never asked them that question, honestly. I think they just maybe because they gave Canada a try and they never liked it. And I guess the war ended by then, so they're like, oh, okay, things can only be better from there. I'm not sure, honestly.
Yeah, but now it's like that didn't pan out these days with
No, not at
Lebanon.
all.
Economy collapsed. They
Yeah.
okay. But how long did you spend in Canada? Or did you spend as a child, and I believe you have a sister, right?
Yes, I do.
Did you guys spend any years in Canada, or they went to Canada, became Canadian, came back, and you guys got by like default?
Yeah, but we got it by default. We never actually we went in 2010 as a vacation for like 2 months in the summer, but we never actually lived in Canada. I was born in Lebanon. My sister was born in Montreal. So I guess my parents after the war they went back to Canada because my sister has my mother has her brothers in Canada, so my uncles. So I'm assuming they went there for a visit and they had my sister there. Here, I mean, in Canada right now. But then they went back.
Guys, keep in mind, Razmig is currently in Montreal,
Yes.
and I'm currently in Dubai.
Yeah.
You were saying?
So yeah. So I've been living in Montreal since October 2016. So it's been over 5 years now. And
So,
yeah.
having said that, then I have a question for you and not your family, since they moved back to Lebanon. For you, moving not really back to Canada, but moving to Canada, what was the culture shock? There must have been some culture shocks.
Um, the culture shock, I would say the cold, obviously. I don't know if that's considered as a culture shock.
That's like a shock.
Being a Yeah, it's like a really cold shock. Being exposed to many different cultures, because in Lebanon it's very homogeneous. Like you only see Lebanese people, right?
Homogeneous,
Here
yeah.
you see all kinds of people from like all from the entire world. So that was a kind of a shock for me. I got to like meet up with different people, learn about their culture and their history, try to like I tasted their food. So that was kind of a shock for me too. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, but Reznik, I'll have to disagree with you there on Lebanon. There's diversity. We have the, really advanced, smart, developed people who say fasolia, and then we have the developmentally stunted people who say fasulia. Anyone who is Lebanese will get that joke.
I say Bazella. Where do I fit into all of this?
Bazalla.
but
Yeah.
but you would agree with me on that, right? Like in Lebanon, there's mainly just Lebanese people. Here you have Japanese, Brazilian, Indian, I don't know what, Bangladesh.
Well, that's because in
Like
Canada they're like they want to say mosaic. Some people say mosaic, as in like each of the ethnicities in Canada are kind of like a separate piece. And some people say melting pot, where it's like all these cultures just like squished together and then they just share different stuff.
yeah, I would agree on the latter, the
Yeah,
melting pot.
mosaic is more like on paper.
Yeah.
So yeah, the culture shock was, well, the cold, which is like a biological shock because
Yeah,
it's freaking cold over there.
it is.
And then just, seeing a bunch of different people.
Yeah.
What, come on, there's got to be other culture shocks. For me, it was just how easygoing it was. There's less stress, less obligations, I want to say.
Um, for me, I wouldn't say it's much of a shock. It's just more of an eye opener of how people behave in Canada rather than Lebanon. Because in Lebanon, it's like in a zoo, like nobody knows how to stand in the line. Nobody knows how to drive. Nobody knows what seatbelt is. Like what's that thing that you put over your chest? Screw that. Here, there people are more civilized. Like people actually know how to stand in line, wait for their turn. They know how to drive. They're more respectful.
Dude, regarding the rules of the road, I just want to say I remember like going into a taxi downtown. Who then he just drove straight through the traffic lights,
Yeah,
and like everyone was honking. We nearly got in a car accident, and then he turned around.
yeah.
He's like, "What the hell's their problem?" And I'm like, "You passed the green." I was like, "You passed the green lights." And he's like, "What green lights? The one for the road." Oh, what's that for? Because
Yeah,
this is like purely indicative of the Lebanese government. They wanted to like modernize the roads in downtown, so they put like 3 traffic lights that have never
yeah,
been there before. They didn't tell anyone they did this,
yeah,
and then it's like they expected everyone to just like adapt.
yeah. Adapt, exactly. Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure like I don't know if they got broken or someone stole them or there was no karaba with electricity. There was no electricity, which defeats the
They probably
purpose.
worked for the first hour of their installments, and then they stopped
Bro,
working ever since.
bro, knowing Lebanon, it's probably in like some tekene, like illuminating the vegetable aisles. The can is like a grocery. Bro, Lebanon, we gotta make a whole video on Lebanon. Honestly, it's hilarious.
Yeah, there's so many moving parts to it.
Just to get back to the culture shock.
Sure.
Now, in terms, okay, you said diversity of people, but what
Hmm.
about like Canadians? Like Canadian mentality, Canadian society, Canadian
Yeah,
views. What
yeah.
was the shock, if there was any, in terms of that?
From what I see is Canadians are more into their own bubble, if that makes sense. Like they're not as open as social as like as Lebanese people. Like
Communal.
it's very normal for a Canadian to be neighbors with another Canadian for like over 10 years and they barely say hi to each other. Like they just don't like to socialize. That's my opinion about it. They're more of an introvert. They keep to themselves. Whereas in Lebanon, many people socialize, like just small talk, but you do small talks with literally everyone that you encounter.
It's like a community thing versus in Lebanon versus individualism in Canada.
Exactly, individualism. Yeah.
Me, I would just like uh, I would just say something different from that in that I feel like you're talking about city Canadians, which I noticed a lot of what you're saying in. Because when I grew up in, not grew up, when I spent a few years in Ontario, I lived in the suburbs, and dude, they were
Where?
to in Windsor. You know Windsor?
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I lived in the suburbs there for a while, and I had a different experience. They were friendly. The neighbors were really friendly. They would drop off food. Like when we moved in, they were very welcoming. We had
Really.
a we had a great like Italian Canadian neighbor, like an older lady,
Hmm.
widow. She was so friendly, very nosy. Like, hi guys, what's going on there? It was
um,
it was getting a bit loud. It's like, no, this is how we
maybe
speak
too
to each
friendly,
other.
huh?
Yeah, too friendly. But like, I get your point where, and like I noticed the same thing you did, where the second I went to like Toronto or Montreal or maybe even Ottawa for a bit, it became totally individualistic.
So you're saying it's more of a city vibe, or it just so happened that that suburb that you grew up in, you were surrounded with friendly neighbors?
I would say, well, okay, I would say it's a make, okay, not a city vibe, although I do feel it's common in mostly in cities, a Canadian city vibe versus a Canadian suburb vibe. Canadians are really friendly once you leave the cities. Like
Okay.
farmland, neighborhoods, all that stuff. Like they're very friendly. They'll ask you about your day and everything, which freaked out my mother when we were
It
here.
did?
Because like, dude, imagine you just walking, hi, how are you? I'm good. Why are you asking? Like, why does she think I'm not good? Like, they take it like as an offense.
Okay.
And then like I forgot where I was going. But like, yeah, they're just pretty friendly in the suburbs. City, it's like individualistic. They kind of mind their own business. They focus on their own stuff.
Right.
And it takes a bit to get them out of their shell.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
like,
I
yeah,
see that point of
that's
view.
how I would differentiate. But overall, and I don't know if you agree with me on this, I would say Canadian culture is mostly individualistic.
No, I do agree with you
Whereas Middle
100%.
East, it's like community.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
So there's that also culture shock for you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so you had the culture shocks about the Canadian. Did they have any culture shocks about you?
Yeah,
Did you did you
some
Razmig, did you fascinate them?
I didn't fascinate them, but I did shock them because some were shocked at how good my English was. Some were
I got that
shocked that
too.
I've seen snow before. They were expecting me not to understand what snow is. Some were shocked that I don't have a desert back home or a camel.
Jesus, man, I had all these experiences in Canada.
Yeah, but
No,
it's fine. Like,
but it's a little sad correcting them. It's like, no, I'm not that kind of Arab. I wish I was that oil billionaire Arab. I'm just
yeah.
the I'm just the sketchy, slightly European, not really European, always fighting each other Arab.
Exactly.
I'm like we're like Lebanon, not okay, Lebanon's kind of special. We're like Iraq and Yemen and Syria and Palestine, where we've got very similar issues,
Okay.
but like we're not like them. We've also got like, I don't know what you want to call it. I want to say like our issues are not as bad as them.
Yeah, I would say it's worse right now,
No, no,
right?
definitely, bro, definitely not worse than Iraq and Palestine and Yemen.
Okay, yeah, those three
Yeah,
countries, yeah. But
we're we're like we're
we
like
have
we're
a
like the sampler,
yeah,
to give you an
we have
idea.
a
But
pretty bad though. We have a pretty bad.
we do. It's and just to update some of the audience who's not familiar with Lebanon, there's currently an economic crisis. There's no money. There's some
There's no
gun.
healthcare.
There's some
There's
gun
no
battles on the streets, like stuff
yeah.
like that. So yeah, what did you tell them? Going back to that topic, when they asked you if you rode
Uh,
camels,
I was shocked at first. I thought people would be more what's that word? More
aware,
not familiar. What's that?
educated,
Aware, yeah,
informed.
more aware of how. But it's fine. Like, I don't mind. I'm not angry or pissed whenever I get that question. I just correct them.
For me, it depended on who was asking. If it was just like
Why?
some dude in, because this was during high school, if it's just like some dude like, hey man, is it true you ride camels to school? I'm like, hell no, what the hell are you talking about? Where are you getting your information? But then I turn
Yeah.
around, if it was like some cute, high school Canadian girl,
Mhm.
hey, I heard you guys have like a lot of money and oil. I'd be like, I'm not going to deny it. I'm not going, and I'm not going to confirm it till after dinner.
That's smart
It's a
one.
bit sleazy, but it's like,
That's sexist. No, I'm joking.
well, that was racist what she said. So it's like, you know,
Yeah,
it
it
cancels each other.
balances each other
It
out.
cancels each other's out. It's like we use two different Pokemon and neither won.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess they thought I was an oil Arab. Turns out
Hmm.
I was just a sleazy Arab.
Hmm.
I was
The
the other
bad kind.
stereotype. But yeah, and
I get asked a lot if I'm Muslim too for some reason.
yeah, same, same. It's kind of a shock when they find out that I'm Christian.
Yeah.
The best meme I saw regarding that was, guys, come on, it's Jesus of Nazareth, not Jesus of New Jersey. And that described everything perfectly. Because, they like expected like blonde, blue-eyed Jesus.
Yeah.
I mean, you are blonde and blue-eyed, Razmig, but
I want to say
you're
blonde, but
special.
blue eyes, yeah.
You're like a very dark blonde.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you were supposed to be blonde, but life didn't want you to be happy.
I'm a dirty blonde, whatever that means.
You're dirty, that's for sure. Come on, you gotta have
touche.
Bro, aside from the camels, you gotta have some funny stories about that.
Yeah.
So I guess not.
Were you?
I was
What's that?
asking you if you had any more funny stories about that.
Oh. No, that's about it.
Perfect.
If I'm a Muslim, if I've seen snow before, if I have camels, if how's my sandstorm like, or desert storm or whatever. That's about it.
It kind of
But-
throws people off when they realize Lebanon has no desert or oil.
But like, to be fair to them, it's the only Middle Eastern country that doesn't have a desert. Does Syria have a desert?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so like I understand where they're coming from.
Like we said, Lebanon is a special place full of special people.
I think Lebanon is the only country too where the president is Christian.
Has to be
Correct?
Christian, and the prime minister
Yeah.
has to be Sunni Muslim, and the speaker of parliament has to be Shiite
Shia.
Muslim, and the deputy prime minister and the deputy speaker have to be Greek Orthodox Christian. There's a lot of rules.
Yeah.
So next question. What did you
Mhm.
think about the Canadians?
Um.
And we're not talking about like immigrant Canadians like ourselves, like, Canuck, hosers, Canucks. Can we say hosers? Yeah, we can.
Tall.
Tall.
Yeah, some are really tall.
Mhm.
Very blonde and blue eyes. Because like what we're used to,
Trudeau's master
olive
race.
skin. Yeah, we're used to like olive skin, brown hair, brown eyes.
Yeah.
Is that a good description?
I
feel
mean,
like
yeah,
what?
go ahead.
I feel like some when they talk, this might be mean to say, but I feel like some are airheads.
Some, I will say some. Some were
Yeah.
pretty, I met like some pretty like friendly, smart ones. But like I don't think it's that they're okay, there are some total airheads. Like, you remember that girl in our French class?
The blonde one?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that, right?
But like I feel honestly it's just they don't know anything about outside of Canada.
Yeah.
Because like, keep in mind, we grew up watching like English TV, British TV, American TV, Canadian TV sometimes, very rarely.
Mhm.
They do not watch Arabic channels. They do not watch Arabic news. They do not follow
Yeah.
pretty much elsewhere.
I also feel like they don't really know what the struggle is. You get what I'm saying? Because like they were born and raised in a country where everything is provided to them.
Yeah.
So like they don't know what hardship or struggle really is. Like being living in an unstable country where you don't know what's gonna pop off anytime, at any moment, or
No
you get what I'm saying?
electricity, no medicine,
Yeah.
pollution.
Yeah. I don't blame them. Like I don't envy them. It's just so happened that they were born and raised in a different culture. But like, yeah.
No, definitely. We can't fault them for that. But like, I know what you mean. Like, it
Oh,
feels.
I have a big culture shock. Sorry to cut you off. This
Go for it.
whole
Go for it. Let's make this interview is about you.
oh, thank you. This whole pronoun situation,
Oh,
and
Jesus,
he,
no.
they, them.
My
We don't
monetization
have that.
status. No.
We don't have that back home. We have real problems here. I feel like most of them, not most of them. Some of them don't have problems, so they create their own problems to be relevant.
I don't think it's just the pronouns. I think it's also like other causes. Like my
Like what?
critique of Canadians is like, instead of, and I know this isn't all Canadians. By the way, if there's any Canadian viewers, which if we're doing anything right, there are, this isn't a rant against Canada, but just things we've observed and want to point out, right?
Right.
So basically, it's like they'll have all these pet causes, these trendy causes, but like I'll never really see them proper donate money or like go overseas to build clean water facilities for African children, to like prevent like genital mutilation for like other kids, to stop wars and stuff. They'll like make up like some really minor problem in Canada instead of actually changing the world. I call it wanting to change the world without doing shit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. Like this whole announce my gender correctly, or I don't know what. It's like like it's a bit of a overkill. Like they're making problems out of nothing. So yeah, that was
I
that was
think
a big shock.
I honestly think it just comes from, like, to use their terms, a place of privilege.
Yeah.
It's like
Like
their you know what LARPing is?
LARPing? No.
Live action role playing, where like they pretend they're in medieval period and like do little like fights with foam swords and stuff. It's
Okay.
like that, but humanitarian causes, but the ones that aren't really endangering anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that. But like that's a whole different discussion. So yeah, moving on to the next question. Having
Shoot.
said some of these critiques, what do you appreciate about Canada? Because there is good stuff about Canada
There's a lot of good stuff.
that you and I are both thankful for.
Yeah. What I like about Canada is there's no wasta, or how do you say that in
Explain
English?
Wasta.
Wasta is basically if like in Lebanon happens a lot. Like if I know someone that knows someone, I can cut the line. I could bend the rules. Yeah, this doesn't happen here. Everyone is treated equally. Doesn't matter if you're a janitor or the prime minister. I wouldn't say prime minister, but like doesn't matter if you're a janitor or the CEO of the company.
Bro,
Everyone's
if you've done brown face and black face 5 times and your voters know this and they still vote for you to become prime minister, you
yeah.
gotta have some crazy wasta.
But like to be fair, he did the brown face way before he was into politics, right?
Yeah, but he
Just
never.
playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, and then playing George's advocate. He never admitted it. Never admitted it.
Admitted it.
Like he never like told people he did this before he ran.
I
I
mean, why
feel
would he? Self-sabotage.
yeah, but then it's like, is he really like what's the word? Does he really
Transparent.
yeah, transparent, or does he have remorse?
Or has he done worse shit?
No, remorse. Like, does he
Yeah, yeah.
actually regret it? It's like,
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
If you regret something, you fess up, you tell the world, and then you acknowledge, you know what, maybe I'm not the greatest person to be leading
I
Canada.
think he did acknowledge it. He's like,
After
was
he
a
was
big
caught.
mistake.
After he was caught.
After he was caught, yeah.
Which is like not an acknowledgement.
Right.
Like,
right.
yeah, back to the we're digressing again. Back to the so basically you're saying Canada's a meritocracy.
A what?
Meritocracy. Damn it, Razmig, you took politics. Meritocracy. You get by on your merit.
Right. Whatever that means, yes.
Okay, so basically in Canada, you are less likely to have your connections matter. So it's more fair.
Yes. Use your dumb words on me, not your fancy words. Yes, I agree with that point.
I'm not using my dumb words on you, Razmig. I'm dumbing down my words for you. Honestly, Razmig,
as long as they're dumb.
Razmig, I feel you will be quite a popular personality in the future of this channel.
Hey, cheers to that, buddy.
Yo, cheers. What are you drinking?
Just water.
Oh, you piece of shiz, man.
Remember this? We actually
Can't
bought it
toast on
together.
water. Did you buy a discount at the bookstore? Like the
I don't remember where, but like there was this and the blue one, and I asked you what color do I get. You told me get the green one, so because it stands out. Remember? I remember that.
I remember the
Perfect.
conversation, but vaguely. But back, what were we talking about again? Trudeau, blackface, brown face, shouldn't be prime
how-
minister. Hint, hint. Uh,
How the WASTA doesn't apply here.
yeah. I mean, I can agree on that because, like, in Canada, you can't just be like what's his name, Draco Malfoy from Harry Potter. I'll tell my
Yeah.
father. I'll tell my father about this. You can't do
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
Ugh. But tell us, Razmig, tell us why that's the case in Lebanon or the Middle East.
Because bro, there's corruption from the top, from the bottom to the top, or top to the bottom, whatever.
Yeah, but we're not
It's
talking
like-
about corruption. We're talking about like family connection, wasta.
But yeah, it's linked with corruption because that family member or whatever knows someone or is someone that is of higher power and can bend the rules. And
Yeah.
like another good thing about Canada is like the healthcare is not the best. We can agree on that, but like at least they provide you
It's
with
trash.
somewhat good healthcare. They provide you with public service. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, look,
they
Razmig,
provide you with buses, metros.
yeah,
The education is not that expensive. It's one of the cheapest in the world. It's like whatever you get, you give, you get back in return. Whatever you put in, you take out.
I mean, I have my own views on that, but basically what you're saying is in Canada, the government provides
Yeah.
you with services that you need.
Exactly. Yeah.
In Canada, you'll never really be in poverty.
Yeah.
You can
Because
be
there's
broke.
welfare.
You can be broke. You can be, I guess, relatively poor, but, and I agree with you on this. In Canada, you will never truly reach the bottom unless like you have like some untreated mental issues or drugs and
Yeah.
alcohol and that kind of stuff.
It's like
And-
let's take
And in Lebanon,
COVID
we
for
don't
an
have these
example.
things. We're
Yeah, let's
Not
take
really.
COVID for an example. When they shut everything down in Canada, they provided us with CERB. What it was like $2,000 a month.
Serb
Stuff.
$2,000 for people who worked, and for people who are just students, 1,500.
Yeah, they didn't just give it to everyone. There
Yeah.
were certain requirements, but like if you met those requirements, they took care of you. Lebanon, nothing happened. No one. They shut down everything without providing any alternative.
That's Lebanon,
I'm
man.
talking about the government.
Pretty corrupt.
Yeah.
So that's something you appreciate about Canada. Is there anything else?
No,
You
that's about
appreciate
it.
the social security that the government
Yeah.
like provides for you, so you'll never be at rock bottom.
Exactly.
Anything
I
else?
appreciate how everyone is on an even playing field for the most part.
For the most
Like
part.
there's no WhatsApp.
Yeah, but there is like rich Canadians who get shit.
Yeah.
Like
For
bro,
the
like
most part.
Westmount, Calgary. Yeah, not Calgary, sorry, the BC, like the people who like own property in BC.
Yeah.
I've seen some of them.
Yeah. But like I'm talking about the average Joe, like the UNIs and those.
The average the average Joe lives better than the average. What's a stereotypically Arab name? Ahmed.
Uh,
Faris.
Fattest.
I get what you're saying. Is there anything else you appreciate from the people?
High-speed internet.
That's fair. Like from the people, from the environment.
Oh man, what I appreciate, there's no pollution. Not pollution, littering. Jesus, in Lebanon, it's everywhere. Everyone litters. Here, like the streets are clean at least. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. There's like public services cleaning it up.
Yeah. And nobody litters to begin with. In Lebanon, everyone litters and no one cleans it up.
I've seen a few people litter, usually cigarettes.
Yeah.
Razmig, can you go closer to the mic? Well, too close.
I don't
too
have a
close.
mic. I'm speaking off the mic of my laptop. Is this better?
Razmig, you are a handsome man, but can you zoom out a bit?
Okay, like this.
Perfect. Okay. So these are the things you appreciate about Canada. What
Yes,
are the
sir.
things you do not appreciate?
The cold.
I love the cold.
Honestly, I don't have much to complain about. I swear to God, I don't have much to complain about. Like I always knock on wood that I get to live in a, I get to grow up somewhere and then get to experience like something better than what I'm used to. There's not much to complain about, honestly.
Right. So you love the culture, you love the support.
If I could change one thing, it's probably the cold.
Hey, we're changing that slowly as a planet over a few years. Well, according to Al Gore or other people, I need a. This is my opinion, or apparently we'll have changed it enough to your taste, Razmig, in like what, a year, 2 years. This is a global effort to warm our planet to satisfy Razmig.
And I thought I wasn't special.
You're a very special person, Razmig. No, I love the cold. It's like you feel like Bear Grylls without drinking your piss.
Yeah, I like the cold too, but this is not cold. This is like a next level cold.
Bro, I love okay, you know what? Screw it. We're gonna swear in this. I fucking love the I fucking love just like wrapping myself in jacket, scarf, gloves, and then going outside like I'm like walking in the North Pole. Will I die? Will I not
Bro,
die?
you're saying that because you're living in Dubai and you forgot that feeling. But once you're actually doing all
Bro,
of that, you're
you
gonna
will
be
not
sick and tired
you
of it.
can never forget a Canadian winter. I loved it even when I was there. Like the temperature would be
You
like
loved it or
minus.
you didn't
I
mind it?
loved it. Like the temperature would be like minus 50, and I'd be like, this is an adventure. Am I going to die or not die? Who knows? I didn't die so far, but still. Nah,
No, I
freaking
wouldn't say
love
I
the
love
cold.
it.
Okay, so Razmik,
Yes, sir.
you're Armenian when it's
Mm-hmm.
convenient. You're born and
Yeah,
raised in Lebanon. Oops. You're
yeah.
born and raised in Lebanon. Let's ignore that.
Put on silent.
I should. Born and raised in Lebanon. Gotta get to my point. Became Canadian by default.
Mm-hmm.
What changed when you became Canadian? Well, wait, you were a baby, right?
Right. I mean, what you're trying to say is what changed when you moved to Canada, right?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's the more appropriate thing to say.
Um, I'm smoking less,
What changed for you personally?
smoking much less
Mhm.
cigarettes. Because in Lebanon, a pack is $1,
Oh, dude.
$2 max. You come here, it's like $10, $12. So yeah, if I don't want to go broke, I should stop smoking, which I did. Like my cigarette consumption decreased by a lot.
Still
A
smoking?
lot. Now and then. Now and then.
Don't worry, Razmig. Only the viewers will judge you. And me.
Fair enough.
And me.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So what else changed?
Uh, just being exposed to different cultures and learning more about them. Because like before I moved to Canada, I never knew what kimchi was, right?
Oh, I fucking love kimchi.
Exactly. And I never knew what empanadas was. I never knew
I
what
still don't know what
I
that
don't know.
is.
It's a South American food. It's like bread and meat, and it's
So like a
more,
burrito.
yeah, but a better tasting version. You
No,
should try that.
dude, what I love about Montreal and Canada, I guess, just so many good restaurants.
Right.
And they're
Right.
not even Canadian restaurants.
Yeah, but I feel like you can have good restaurants anywhere in the world.
Yeah, but like Okay, how I put it is this. When you go to other major cities outside of North America, restaurants are run like by companies, you know? When you go to like Montreal or downtown Toronto, downtown Victoria, restaurants are like small family owned immigrant like places where they cook the food and you really feel that it's homemade or you really feel that it's genuine cuisine.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like that's what I
Yeah.
appreciate about restaurants in Montreal specifically. Like
Yeah.
I keep forgetting the names, but like there's amazing Indian restaurants. There's an amazing Taiwanese restaurant, Note. There's some good Lebanese restaurants, man. Those shawarma places, nuts.
Yeah.
Like I love it, man. But like then you come
Yeah.
here and it's like a chain, you know?
You
Like
don't
here
have
in
those
Dubai.
mom and pop shops? You don't have
No,
those
no,
local shops?
no, because in
Are you sure, or you're
Dubai,
not looking hard enough?
maybe I'm not looking hard enough, but like I honestly feel like at least in Dubai, the city is very advanced to the
Mm-hmm.
point where like you don't really have mom and pop restaurants.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But like that's what I appreciate about Canada, you know, the melting pot.
Right. Right.
Okay, so I think you'll love this question, and I think this should be an entire video, but we're going to try to squeeze it into this one. How do you compare Canada to Lebanon?
In what sense?
Um, the strengths of what is a strength in Canada that's a weakness in Lebanon? Like, you know, where is Canada strong where Lebanon is weak? And after I'll ask you, where is Canada weak where Lebanon is strong?
Oh, sure.
Culture, food, people, things like this.
So Lebanon is strong in culture where Canada is weak.
Hmm. What do you mean by that?
Uh, sorry.
What do you mean by
Like
that?
the whole sense of community versus individualism, the point that we touched on. But that depends on the person too, right? Some people prefer individualism, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And what Canada is strong, that Lebanon is weak, is the no corruption. The That makes sense. Like what we talked about, and the melting point of the cultures.
Right.
Melting point of the cultures that's generally individualistic. I hope that makes any sense. Like you got different
No.
cultures. Okay, fair enough. Like in Canada, yeah. So in Canada, you have a bunch of different cultures, but it doesn't feel like a community. In Lebanon, you have one culture that feels like a community,
Right.
right?
Yeah. No, I get what you're
Yeah,
saying. Like it's again, it's just the whole individualism versus community.
right.
So what would you okay, so we've talked about individualism. What do you mean, like what would you say is the benefit of community if this is one of Lebanon's strengths?
Um,
Because in Canada,
ma-
the government supports you, right?
right,
It supports you as an individual.
right,
But in Lebanon, the government doesn't support you.
right. What was your question again before the support was support?
Wait,
What did you ask?
I had like a one question that was essentially a buttload of questions. So basically in Lebanon, it's more of a community.
Yeah,
What is the strength of Lebanon being more communal?
it's more social.
What do you mean?
Like just people, because I consider myself as a social person. I like to talk to people, and I like to open up. And in Canada, most people, like if they're standing on a bus line, not many people talk to each other. Everyone has their own earphones in. Everyone does their own thing, and
This is in the
I get
city.
that. Yeah, I've never lived in a suburb, and I get that. But like, I like to talk to. Not that I'm a really chatty person or just talk your ears off, but like I like to, even if it's small talk, you get what I'm saying? I like to
Yeah,
talk to people.
you're
And
friendly.
exactly, like in Canada. So I went to university in Lebanon and in Canada. Lebanon, like the classmates, they usually talk to each other. In Canada,
Quick
they just
question, which
show up.
university?
NDU.
Hmm. Notre Dame?
Yeah. And so in Lebanon, like people and classmates, they usually talk to each other. In Canada, just the students, they show up, they learn their lesson, then they just leave
if they learn.
if they learn. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What
yeah,
what do you think
it's
has to do with that?
sorry.
What do you think has to do with that? Like, what do you think's the cause of why Canadians don't do that?
I don't know. I really don't know.
For me, I think it's
Do you?
more. I think it's like again what we said, the individualism. Like,
Yeah.
I guess in Lebanon, and not to beat on Canada or anything, in Lebanon, your family life socializes you. So when you go out in Lebanon, you kind of treat the neighborhood like family. So you talk, even if you've never met them before, you ask them how they're doing, how's the kids, do you know XYZ cousin from XYZ village from Hayalla Manta'a, which
Mm,
usually it's a yes. The answer is yes to that.
yeah.
But like in Canada, it's like I feel the second they turn 18, the family kind of just kicks them out. This
Yeah.
isn't
It's
all the
true.
time, but it's many times,
Most of the time. Yeah.
most of the time. And then like they never have that support from their families. Not never. I don't want to generalize, even though I love doing it.
Mm,
Like in Canada, I feel the family doesn't socialize you.
yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. I've
Like
heard
you're
many
you're
stories of
18, you get kicked out,
get kicked out. Yeah.
you're an individual now. So when you socialize with someone, it comes out of a place of self-interest rather than this person is part of my community.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree with that.
I think that
Because
I think
like
that's actually a good topic for a video in the future, just like that one thing.
yeah. Because all of my friends, I'm not gonna say most, I'm literally gonna say all of my
Canadian
friends because
friends?
it's true. No, no, back home, they all live with their parents. And I'm 26, so I my most of my friends are around my age, some older, some younger, but they all live with their parents. Here, I don't know anyone that lives with their parents, except for one or two.
It's
So yeah,
it's usually like the really rich people, even though ironically their parents can get them an apartment, or it's actually like us immigrant families where they still live with the parents in Canada.
really rich people where? Here or in Lebanon?
Dude, West like I'm talking about Canada. Like the only
Okay.
people who I've noticed live with their parents are either
Oh,
like upper
are rich
class.
people?
What? No, no, the rich Canadians. Okay,
Okay.
Razmig, the people I've noticed who still live with
Live
their
with their parents.
parents in Canada are
Are
either
rich
like,
people.
yeah, I don't want to say only rich, like upper class suburban, like they've got like a big house in the suburbs, or it's like immigrant families,
Yeah. I keep on forgetting you've lived in the suburbs, so you've experienced Canada a bit different than
suburban
myself.
Canada. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Whereas in Lebanon and I can say Middle East and I will assume Africa, East Asia, South America even, it's not so bad to live with your family. Like in
It's
Canada,
completely normal.
yeah, it's normal. Like in Canada, I feel it's like I don't know if you agree with me. It's like, oh, you live with your parents, something like that. And then
You know the thing
in
is,
here,
even if
it's
they
not.
live with their parents, yeah. And the thing is, if they do live with their parents, they pay rent to their parents.
Yeah,
I want
which
to ask
which
you,
disturbs me in a way.
it
Razmig, you
does.
can't just hold sketchy looking pills in your hand.
Their vitamin D3 pills, something that's another thing I learned in Canada, what you have to supplement with because you don't get much sunlight here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What were you gonna say?
What was I gonna what's your opinion on that? Let's say you have a
On
kid,
which?
he turned sorry,
On
let's say you
what?
have a kid, he turns 18. What will you do with him?
Dude, okay, so this is what I hope I end up doing. I can't say like it's not gonna be 100% for sure. I might be a shitty parent, I might not be, but it depends on the kid. Like if the kid is seriously just going through school, like uni, or they just
Yeah.
need some help, of course, man, of course, like, of course, stay with me. But staying with me with the aim of still making their own life and moving
Yeah,
out.
yeah. Not just playing video games all day.
Because like Razmig, to me, I don't know about you, but like to me, an 18-year-old is still a kid. A 19-year-old
No, I agree.
and a
I agree
20 and even a
100%.
20-year-old, like
I agree.
that's not really an adult. Like maybe in
No,
the
no, they're
past where
not.
you went to war when you were 16, sure. But like I feel like
Yeah,
these days, like I don't want to say we've gone back in terms of maturity, but we're not as mature as before.
I agree. I agree 100%.
But like, yeah, like I feel like that's your kid. You know, they didn't choose to have you. You chose to have them, or you weren't responsible enough, so you ended up having them, even if it wasn't your intention. You can't just like be like, get out, bitch.
Mm.
It's like, no, like you're responsible for this life. Support
Yeah,
them. No, no, but
I agree because I feel like if you're
just let me
kicking them
finish
out,
this. Just let me
oh,
finish
sorry,
this part.
sorry.
No, no, don't say sorry. Freaking Canadian. I feel like support them as much as you can without making them dependent on you so that they'll never leave, and with the aim that they're going to be strong enough to leave on their own. So yeah, that's how I
100%.
feel about it, and that's how I hope I'll go about it. But in Canada, like we discussed, it's like get lost. It's like, okay, now it's about me again. You're 18, leave. Sometimes not even 18. Sometimes they literally kick the kid out at 16.
Mm. Yeah, I agree
What were
100%.
you going to say?
I was just gonna say that I feel like from a parent's perspective, they kick them out at 18. It's like they're getting rid of them and their responsibility,
And
which
like,
is a bad thing.
yeah, and then they'll just put it on the kid. It's like, first of
Yeah,
all, the parents, now this is just like a generalization, I guess. You chose to have a kid. They didn't
yeah,
choose you. If
yeah.
kids could choose, billionaires would have kids and no one else if kids could choose.
Right,
And if you kick him out, the fact that you had to kick him out means you probably didn't teach them any proper skills.
right,
You didn't leave them any security, and you just
right.
dumped them on their ass.
Mm-hmm.
And in the Middle East, that's just unthinkable.
Yeah,
Like you just don't do that. You support your kids. And like I get it, there's some cases where we both probably know people who they're 30 and they still haven't left. But in many
yeah.
cases, because of the support they receive from their parent past 18, they've been able to leave, not be
Mm-hmm.
desperate, and actually had good options.
Yeah. Leave when they're ready, basically.
Yeah, leave when they're ready. What do you think? What was the
I
case?
agree
Razmig,
100%.
what was the case with you? If you want to share.
Uh, I decided to leave not just the house but the country itself at 21. But had I stayed in Lebanon, I would have like my sister is 28 now and she still lives with my parents, so I would have been probably the same way living with my parents.
Yeah. For me, it's right now I'm in Dubai, full transparency. I'm living with my parents
Right.
because like I'm going to stay, and I'm 27, guys, which is like kind of old, let's be honest. But it's like I'm not staying with them forever. I'm staying with them until I can either get a good job where I can buy my own place or just move back to Canada and again get a good job and get my place.
Hmm.
But it's not a permanent thing.
No. Yeah. Just leave when you're ready. That's like the best thing I could say.
Yeah, leave when you're ready. And you know, I just can't imagine making a life and then tossing it. Which it's probably an extreme way of seeing it, but that's how it feels to me. What do you think?
I agree. I agree.
So yes, I feel like we start with strength and weaknesses of Canada, but then like screw the structure. Okay. Two. Razmig. How do you no, we said that. What are your future plans in Canada?
Um, it's always a constant struggle with the French here in Montreal. I always try to improve it, but then again, I'm lazy. I'm not putting that much effort into it. So I'm gonna see how it goes in a couple of years. If I don't see where I want to see myself, I'm probably gonna move out of the province.
Where to?
I'm not sure. Ottawa, Toronto. But the thing is, I just don't want to start all over again. Again, you get what I'm saying? Because I made my friends here. I made my circle. I know who my barber is, who my dentist is. You know, I don't have to pick trial and error anymore. Like I'm comfortable with them.
You recognize the
Exactly.
homeless people. Dude, I started remembering, like I started like noticing like their faces, and I'd be like, oh, it's that guy. Oh, it's this guy. Oh, it's that guy on Tuesday, but he's a different guy on Wednesday.
So yeah, if I want to move out of the province, I have to start all over again, and I just don't want to do that. You know.
Do you feel that's something you're gonna have to do, or
I don't know. I really don't know. I have to improve my French, but then again, I'm just not putting that much effort into it
yeah,
because I kind of gave up on it.
but it's like tu parles français.
Yeah, yeah, I speak, but not fluent enough for to get the better jobs. I speak to get by, if that makes sense.
Makes sense. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully it works out.
that's where I'm at. What about you? Are you gonna move back or?
I don't know. This is a recurrent theme in my life. I don't know.
It's fine. Take your time.
I'm hoping the viewers will, you know, subscribe and follow and give me $1 million on Patreon and follow and give me $1 billion on OnlyFans. Oh, I revealed it. But no, like honestly, it's the same things as you. It depends on the career.
Yeah,
And but where I differ from you is I'm not worried about starting at zero because I feel like I'm already like kind of zero here.
you're zero there.
And not I am a zero, but like, I have nothing, like there's no anchors for me. So I still have a decision to make whether I continue to stay here, depending on career, or whether I go back there,
Mm-hmm.
go back to Canada from Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see, man. We'll see. So, Razmig, we are going to go into our final question.
Shoot. Fire away,
We
sir.
we we digressed a bit and became a little more abstract, like modern art. But what is your message or slash advice to future or current immigrants in Canada? Let's start with current immigrants.
Mm, I could say just be open. Don't be afraid to try out new experiences. Like, let's say I'm Lebanese. Don't just stick to your Lebanese crew, if that makes sense. Try to expand, like meet different people, try different foods. That's my only thing I can say. What I can try to say is assimilate into this new culture that you're in. Like, just forget about your past. Not completely forget about them, but try to adapt to the new culture that you're trying to live in. Yeah.
Do you feel that's a problem?
How so?
Do you feel people are not adapting?
Um, I don't want to generalize, but I know like a few Lebanese people that just stick with Lebanese people and only eat Lebanese food. It's like, hey, you want to try Indian food? Nah. You want to try, I don't know, Mexican food? Nah. It's like, why not? You've never tried it before. Maybe you tried it and you like it. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, just be open-minded is what I'm trying to say.
How I put it is like this. I didn't leave Lebanon to make another Lebanon.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I agree.
Like, yeah, I feel like Canadian culture has a lot of good things. It has a lot of bad things. That's why I try to mix the best of Canada with the best of whatever I am, Lebanon.
Yeah. I know it's a bit not ironic, but hypocritical for me to say that because I'm not putting that much effort into learning French.
Ah, it's not only French in Canada.
It's not, yeah. But like going back to my point, I guess I should put more effort into learning French.
Mhm. It's not just like And dude, this applies to me too. Like, I'm not going to say je parle français beaucoup or whatever that stuff. I know some words like you. You probably know more than me. But like, yeah, I think we should learn French if we live in Quebec. Like, I'm one of those guys who believes in that. Not because of Quebec. Like, I'm a little selfish. I don't really care about Quebec from a linguistic point of view, but it's like, it's always good to learn a third language, or in some
Yeah,
cases, second language.
yeah.
Ah, but like, Duolingo, I guess. And the sponsor of
Zaza.
this video is not Duolingo.
Duolingo.
It's not Duolingo. One day, Razmig, one day. And now for future immigrants,
Mm.
because we talked about current.
I don't have anything in my mind. Do you have any? Can you
I
fill
would,
it up? Can you?
well, you're being interviewed, Razmig. I
No,
would
I
put it,
know, but I
okay, I'll make it easier. What do you, what words do you have for future immigrants that you wish you knew before immigrating to Canada? You give me the middle finger there, bud.
uh, I don't know,
What
because
did
like
you wish you knew?
the thing is, as much research you can do, and as much I don't know, like just the research you can do before you moving to a country, you never experience that country until you actually do move there. Because like, let me follow up on that point. Because when I went back to Lebanon in the summer, people always tell me, "Oh, how's your experience in Canada? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I don't know what. Do you recommend me to move?" And like, I can't speak to for yourself. You get what I'm saying? The only way for you to experience Canada, and if you do like it, is if you actually move there. So I just don't think you can do as much preparation, or you think you can do as much preparation beforehand, but it's just not enough until
Yeah,
you actually move and you live there, first-hand experience.
same was for me. I I couldn't have never anticipated like how it
Exactly.
would
Yeah.
be
That's
just moving to Canada.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So we're at the end of our questions, Resmig. I want to say thank you for being on the podcast, and
Thank you for having me.
thank you for being our first interviewee, is that what it is? Interviewee for the third
Guest, guest on the
guest.
podcast.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's a better word. Thank you for being our first guest for the Third Culture Rant segment.
I'm honored.
I'm hoping to see you in in future Third Culture Rant segments, and I also want to see you in our other segment regarding
Sure.
just personal life,
Sure. I'll be more
which
than
guys, it's
honored
going to be
to
called "Been There,"
been there.
"Been There," because it's like I've been
Yeah,
there,
it's short, it's sweet. Yeah.
been there. So, Resmig, do you have any final words for us? Any remarks? Anything you want to talk about? A message for the viewers?
Um, if you don't like my opinion, you can go F yourself. I'm joking.
Oh, they'll love you,
No.
Resmig.
It's my way or the highway. No, I just hope if you listen to it, you'd agree with me, and if you don't, then it's completely fair.
Perfect.
And it's just my opinion at the end of the day. I could be wrong. And yeah,
Yeah, but still, we appreciate you sharing your views, and honestly, it's just another perspective.
yeah,
So once
sure.
again, Resmig, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us, and hope to see you more in the channels.
For
To
sure.
the viewers, as usual, please like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments what you liked or didn't like about this. Take care,
Mhm.
guys, and rant over.